There is a form of shirk so subtle, so deeply hidden, that most people who have it will never even know. And the scariest part? It is not committed by bad people. It is committed by people who pray, who fast, who give charity. People who look from the outside like they are doing everything right.
Riya is usually translated as showing off, but that translation is dangerously incomplete. Because showing off sounds like something obvious. Someone praying loudly in public, someone bragging about their Ramadan fasts, someone making sure the donation is seen. And yes, that is Riya, but that is only the surface. Underneath it, there are levels. And as you go deeper, the levels get quieter, harder to see, and far more destructive.
Let us start at the top. The first and most visible level of Riya is performing acts of worship specifically to be seen. Someone who would not pray if no one was watching. Someone who only fasts when people around them know about it. Someone who gives charity but makes absolutely sure it is noticed.
This is the loudest form, the one most people think of when they hear the word Riya. It is also the easiest to diagnose because the intention is almost entirely external. There is no worship happening here. There is only performance. The second level is more common and far more dangerous, and this is where most people start to feel uncomfortable.
This is when a person genuinely wants to worship Allah, but they also want people to notice. Both intentions exist at the same time. You wake up for tahajjud because you love Allah, but you also feel a quiet satisfaction when someone finds out. You give in charity sincerely, but something inside you wants the acknowledgement. The act is real.
The worship is real, but it is mixed, and a mixed intention is not a clean intention. The scholars call this al-riya al-khafi, the hidden showing off. It is the battle between sincerity and the ego that most believers quietly fight every single day. Now, here is where it gets even more difficult to navigate. The third level does not begin with the intention to show off at all. You start your act of worship in complete sincerity. No one is watching, you did not plan it, your heart is present. But then someone notices. Someone walks in, someone sees you, and suddenly something shifts. You straighten up. You become more focused, more visible in your focus. You hold the posture longer. You did not begin for people, but you are now performing for them. This is Riya that enters mid-worship. And the question the scholars raise here is devastating. Does that shift corrupt the entire act? Ibn al-Qayyim addresses this directly. If you resist the feeling and return to your intention, the deed survives. But if you feed it, if you let it change your behavior even slightly, the reward begins to dissolve.
The fourth level requires no audience at all. No one is watching. No one knows. But inside your own mind, you are watching yourself. You imagine people finding out. You replay the scene of someone discovering your good deed. You construct, entirely in your imagination, an audience, and then you perform for them. This level is so internal, so private, that a person can go years without ever catching it. You are alone in your room. You are praying in the dark, and yet the ego has found a way to make even your solitude into a stage. But nothing compares to the final level. The scholars of the heart, particularly Imam al-Ghazali in his Ihya Ulumuddin, describe a level of Riya that does not attach itself to a specific act of worship. It attaches itself to the entire identity. This is when a person begins to build their entire religious personality around how it appears to others. They adopt the look of piety, the speech, the clothing, the mannerisms, not as a result of sincere inner change, but as a presentation. They do not just show off individual acts, they show off their Islam itself. And this is why the Prophet ﷺ called Riya the minor shirk, because at this final level, the religion is no longer lived for Allah. It is lived for the gaze of creation. And when the religion itself becomes a performance, when your entire Islamic identity is a costume you wear in public, there are no individual good deeds left to corrupt, because the corruption has gone all the way down to the root. This is what the last level destroys. Not a prayer, not a fast, everything. Now, here is the question that should be sitting uncomfortably in your chest right now. How do you know if you have it?
The terrifying answer is, the deeper the Riya, the harder it is to see from the inside. The person at level 1 usually knows something is wrong, but the person at level 5 has often constructed an entire internal narrative about their sincerity.
They believe they are sincere, they feel sincere, and yet the disease has made a home in the very place they never look. The classical scholars gave specific signs to watch for. The first is that your worship increases when people are watching and decreases when they are not. Not dramatically, even slightly.
Even a small difference in your focus, your length of prayer, your softness in recitation, when someone is present versus when you are alone. That gap is Riya's fingerprint. The second sign is that you feel pain when your worship is not acknowledged. You gave, you prayed, you sacrificed, and no one noticed. And there is a sting. A small one, maybe, but it is there. That sting is the ego revealing what it was quietly expecting all along. The third sign is that the thought of your good deeds being unknown bothers you more than the thought of them being impure. Read that again. You are more disturbed by the idea of your deeds being invisible than by the idea of them being spiritually corrupted. That priority, that fear of obscurity over impurity, is one of the most precise diagnostics the scholars ever offered. So what is the cure? The scholars are unanimous that you cannot fight Riya by simply trying harder to be sincere. The ego is too smart for that. Every time you try to force sincerity, it finds a new way to perform, this time performing sincerity itself. The real cure begins with something far more humbling. It begins with accepting that you cannot purify your own heart alone, that the very faculty you would use to fix the problem, your self-perception, is the thing that is broken. This is why the dua the Prophet ﷺ taught for this specifically is so powerful. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika an ushrika bika wa ana a'lam wa astaghfiruka lima la a'lam. O Allah, I seek refuge in you from knowingly associating partners with you, and I seek your forgiveness for what I do not know. That second part, what I do not know, is the acknowledgement that Riya can live inside you without your knowledge. You are not asking forgiveness for a specific act. You are asking forgiveness for what your own eyes cannot see in yourself. The path forward is not self-obsession with your intentions. That actually feeds the ego. The path is to keep acting, keep worshiping, keep giving, while simultaneously holding your intentions loosely, remaining suspicious of your own praise-seeking, and returning constantly to Allah with the admission, I am not fully capable of knowing my own heart. Only you are. Because in the end, the antidote to performing for creation is a deep, lived, repeated return to the only gaze that was ever worth anything, the gaze of the one who already sees everything you try to hide, including the parts of you that you cannot even see yourself.